Good day, this is Leadership TV, and of course, you're watching Inside Nigeria, which is a program where we look at the trending stories on the front pages of our national dailies. I am Cynthia Omado. Thanks for joining. And today we'll begin with, of course, a leadership newspaper here. The major headlines talking about 2027 Atiku, Obi, Saraki, Lamido begin alliance talks. Obi must get approval of party leadership at Papa. It's all about state of the nation. Tanko Yunusa. It's just a mere meeting. Still on leadership, recapitalization, investors set for 3.894 trillion naira stake in banks. Electricity tariff hike, Labour shuts down NERC discos in states. Tinubu directs all MDAs to buy CNG-powered vehicles. 2024 Hajj, 428 pilgrims depart Nigeria tomorrow. Northeast residents lament total blackout. Qualifying Nigeria for 2026 World Cup, my goal, says Finidi. And also at the top here of the leadership newspaper, Fubara to probe past administrations in Rivers. United Nations cries out as 360,000 flee Rafah amid Israeli offensive. Let's take a look at trending. Police arrest woman for trafficking in Ogo. Finally, 50 illegal refining sites are uncovered in Bayelsa. And of course, let's move on now from the leadership newspaper and take a look at Daily Sun. The major headline here, electricity tariff hike. Organized labor grounds discos, NERC nationwide. Demands complete reversal of power sector privatization and rejects band classification. Still on Daily Sun, Fubara moves to probe Wike, plans panel of inquiry, inaugurates Iboroma as Attorney General. Food security, federal government targets rice, maize, others for year-round cropping. Troops kill notorious bandit leader, 3 others in Kaduna. Insurgents treatment camp dislodged. Still on Daily Sun, federal government to introduce wage system for workers. Tinubu backs gender equality campaign, says he's committed to ensure no child is left out of school. Governor Obaseki urges devolution of power, says Nigeria's current design has expired. They're still on the Daily Sun. Merger speculations rife as Obi meets PDP chiefs. Visits Atiku, Lamido, Saraki, Bafarawa. And down below on the Daily Sun, of course, Tinubu mandates MDAs to procure CNG-powered vehicles. And let's move away from Daily Sun now and take a look at Vanguard. Vanguard newspaper here, the major headline talking about traffic hike. Labor protests disconnects NERC TCN discos offices. Says privatization of power sector colossal failure. Demands complete reversal. We have heard your concerns, NERC chairman. We'll go back to drawing board, federal government tells Labour. And we have a picture of the various states, of course, where the Labour protest was happening, which is Abuja, Enugu, Kaduna, and Ikeja in Lagos. And still on Vanguard, banks cut borrowing from CBN by 44% to 12.2 trillion naira. Fubara to probe governance in last 8 years. 10 billion naira airport contract fraud. ESTC arraigns Sirica brother company today. Tinubu directs mandatory procurement of CNG-powered vehicles by MDAs. And so we're still on the Vanguard newspaper. CBN will retain high interest rates to tame inflation. Cardoso. Escalating public service wage bills, increasing cost of governance, says Akpabio. Guba polls. INEC resumes voters registration in Edo, Ondo states. And on sports, NFF unveils Finidi as Super Eagles coach. Names are Mokachi, others as assistants. Let's move away now from Vanguard newspaper and take a look at the Punch. The major headline on the Punch says electricity tariff hike, federal government convenes meeting as Labour threatens indefinite protests. Federal government to address labor's complaints. Protesters storm NERC block disco offices in states. We're still on the punch here. POS operators drag CAC to court. Federal government orders MDAs to buy gas-powered vehicles. Bullying. Student sues Abuja school for 500 million naira. Soldier gunned down for resisting stepmother's abduction. Military kills notorious bandit kingpin in Kaduna. We're still on the punch here at the top of the newspaper here. Federal government may need supplementary budget to pay minimum wage, says the IMF. CBN may intervene as Naira slides to 1,478 to a dollar. Atiku Obi initiate alliance talks ahead of 2027 polls. EFCC indicts Saraki, brother in new 19 billion naira fraud. And now let's move away from the Punch newspaper and take a look at The Nation. The major headline here says, FEC adopts CNG-powered vehicles for ministries and agencies. And still on The Nation, federal government targets less use of petrol to stem rising costs of living and boost the economy. Still on The Nation here, INEC plans new voter registration in Edo, Ondo. LPs Abure at meeting. Restructuring of NYSC for future challenges starts. And on sports, Finidi mounts saddle vows rejig of Super Eagles as the NFF unveils him as head coach. We're still on The Nation. Atiku, Obi, Saraki, Lamido begin 2027 coalition talks. Ex-Labour Party candidate visits opposition chiefs. Productivity-based wage coming for workers. Employees on same level may earn differently. Let's catch the story on the page 3, of course, of The Nation newspaper. And we're still on The Nation. Labour seeks reversal of electricity tariff increase. TUC, NLC, picket, NERC, discos, others. And finally on The Nation, Fubara to raise probe panel on Wike's government. Senator Wogo, plan is witch hunt, diversionary. Governor inaugurates commissioner screened by 3 lawmakers. Well, to catch that story or those stories and more, you can pick a piece of The Nation newspaper. Now let's move along to The Guardian. A major headline this morning talking about mistrust. Greed stall takeoff of new telephony licensee in 31 states. And here NLC, TUC pickets, NERC discos offices nationwide. And still on The Guardian, of course, 2027 opposition party leaders to meet over mega party. 265 local versus registered abroad as Nigeria lags in registry digitalization. Obi meets Atiku, Saraki, others over Nigeria's woes. Concerns as US study visa refusal reach record level in 2023. Stock investors lose 3.8 trillion naira in less than 2 months. Fubara vows to probe Wike, others panel of inquiry. And that's all we'll be taking today on The Guardian newspaper. Finally, let's move along to the THISDAY newspaper, talking about the major headline. In FT interview, Cardoso says investors getting comfortable with Nigeria's FX markets. Declares CBN returning to orthodox policy, doing everything to tame rising inflation. Hints at further NPR hike. Fitch Ratings raises concern over Apex Bank's unverified $2.2 billion FX backlogs by Apex Bank. Naira weakens to $1,478 on official window and $1,485 per dollar on the parallel market. We're still on this day newspaper electricity tariff. Labour pickets TCN discos NERC offices grounds operations. Urges federal government to cancel power sector privatization. Government says Zungeru 700 megawatt power plant wreck. And Fubara resolves to probe Wike. Falana, 25 lawmakers who defected have lost their seats. And of course, we're looking at a picture of the launch of the Organization of African First Ladies for Development, of course, with President Bola Tinubu and the First Lady, Her Excellency Oluremi Tinubu. And of course, with Leadership newspaper, we end Inside Nigeria for today. Thank you so much for watching. I am Cynthia Onodo.
Thank you for watching. For sponsorship and advert placements, please contact 08036886158. Last Word Leadership Podcast Studio. You have the last word.